The position of the progressive governors to support all steps to unify and bring about peaceful resolution in our party.
President Buhari meets progressive governors as shows of end to APC crisis, just as Ize Yamo picks party's governorship ticket for Edo election. Banditry and insecurity, Northwest governors meet National Security Advisor.
Our failure to take responsibility threatens the gains we have recorded, which is not good for our large population.
We are concerned about disregards for guidelines and skepticisms. Presidential Task Force cries out. And Australia to support Nigeria's restoration of mangroves impacted by hydrocarbon pollution. Good evening and a warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Reading with me tonight is Ruth Aria Samuel and Maria Madura Angels. We begin with political stories as President Muhammadu Buhari assures that all contentious issues threatening to undermine unity and cohesion within the governing All Progressives Congress will soon be resolved. Granting audience to the Progressives Governors Forum, President Buhari expressed optimism that the party will emerge stronger. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Progressives Governors Forum, represented by its chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Bagudu, as well as his counterparts from Plateau and Jigawa states, was in response to the crisis rocking the APC. Facing governorship elections in 2 states before the end of the year, the governing party had within the last 1 week lost the governor of Edo State and the deputy governor of Ondo State to the opposition party and are expected to participate in the polls. The national chairman of the party, Adams Oshomole, had also been suspended following a judicial decision. The meeting held behind closed doors discussed the best way forward in the interest of the governing party and indeed the administration.
The reason for our visit is to discuss with him as our party leader, as the leader that millions of Nigerians trust, party issues and the position of the progressive governors to support all steps to unify and bring about peaceful resolution in our party, the All Progressive Congress. And Mr. President listened attentively and discussed with us as a father, as a party leader. And it gave us all the assurance we needed to know that resolution of contentious issues would soon be arrived at.
Governor Atiku Bagudu appreciated the genuine concerns being expressed by the APC family members and indeed Nigerians over the crisis, assuring them that President Muhammadu Buhari is equally worried and committed to finding lasting solutions.
At all times, Mr. President have shown that he's a Democrat. He's not running the party. Yes, he's the party leader. He allows party organs to do and decide what should be done. He's very, very hesitant to use his standing, even as party leader, talk less of his authority as Mr. President and of the country to direct things. But at all times, he has been alive to the issues and with the level of detail he have about all what is happening and the number of people he has listened to and heard, I believe whatever needs to be done, including the possibility of calling any organ of the party that is necessary to the resolution of lingering issues, will be done immediately.
President Buhari had last Sunday discussed similar issues with the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still on political report, a former Attorney General of Rivers State, Wogo Bombs, has formally assumed office as the Deputy National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. National Vice Chairman, South of APC, Hilad Etta, performed the inauguration ceremony on behalf of the acting National Chairman at the party's National Secretariat. The development, he said, is born out of the decision by the APC Zonal Executive Committee, South, who met virtually and upheld the decision of National Working Committee of the resignation of the former Deputy National Secretary, Victor Giadom, who resigned to participate in the 2019 general election. Now, the governorship candidate of the APC in the just concluded primary in Edo State, Pastor Osagier Ize-Iyamur, says he believes that the outcome of the exercise will put an end to the crisis in the party. He says he is ready to forge a common front with other aspirants and build bridges of unity in the party. Ogochukwu Ona reports that he spoke shortly after he was declared winner.
The result was announced after the returning officers of the 18 local government areas took turns to present the outcome. Resident Electoral Commissioner, INEC, Edo State, and other officials from Abuja witnessed the announcement.
Before the primaries commenced, we got notice of withdrawal from 2 of the candidates. But in keeping with the provisions of the Electoral Act as amended, we insisted that the election must go on. And the election went on. We here now have the results as collected. In total, between the candidates or aspirants, Dr. Pius Ozubu and Osaro Obaze and Pastor Eze-Iyamur, Osaro Obaze has a total vote of 2,724 votes. While Dr. Pius Odubu has a total vote of 3,776 votes. And Pastor Eze-Iyamur has a total vote of 27,838 votes. From the reports and the calculation here, Pastor Osagier Eze-Iyamur, who scored a total vote of 27,838 votes, has the highest number of votes cast in the election and is hereby returned a candidate of APC for the forthcoming governorship election in Edo.
The exercise held in the 192 wards across the state. It was with compliance with extant laws prohibiting gathering of more than 20 persons. In Benin, Ogochukwu Ona, NTA News.
We now go to security matters, where government at both the federal and state levels continue to collaborate in tackling security challenges in the country. The coalition of governors from North Central region today met with the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, to, among other issues, discuss the security challenges in that part of the country and the willingness to continue to work with the federal government to bring this to an end.
Know earlier that security is topmost priority of this administration, and we're doing our best to ensure that the nation is secured. As northern region governors, we met and decided that we must tackle insecurity head-on. So basically, my committee is to liaise with the various security agencies and security operatives to ensure that the necessary security architecture is put in place, and to ensure that it is enforced. At the end of the day, we get the best secured region and that of the country at large.
Similarly, Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali of Zamfara State, in a separate meeting, briefed the Chief of Staff to the President on security issues in his state.
With northern governors and with the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies at NSA office, which we discuss seriously on the issues of insecurity, which the Chief of Staff invited me today to come and brief him about the issue of insecurity in my state, which I did. and we have discussed about it, and you understand where we're going. And the Zamfara State Government and the security are doing its best to make sure that we curtail the issue of this insecurity.
The governor spoke to State House Press after the meeting and expressed optimism that the issue of insecurity in the country will soon be laid to rest. The security crisis ravaging the northwest geopolitical zone of Nigeria will soon be a thing of the past. This is the assurance given by state governors from the zone and the National Security Advisor after a meeting convened to address the situation. Victor Azu reports that they, however, appeal to Nigerians to provide credible information to aid security operations.
For some time now, bandits have continued to unleash mayhem on innocent citizens in the northwest zone, leading to loss of lives and livelihoods. This meeting, therefore, is a follow-up to the presidential directive to the nation's security hierarchy to take urgent steps towards addressing the security situation in the region. At the end of the meeting, the National Security Advisor, Inspector General of Police, Directors General of the SSS and NIA, alongside state governors from the zone, agreed to harmonize strategies to end the destruction.
This meeting has been able to look at issues from both the political, the social, and the security aspects. A meeting which has given us a lot of hope and has inspired us to redouble our efforts in dealing with this menace.
The governors express optimism that they will overcome the security challenges in their states.
We have found solutions and we are going to apply them, and very soon peace and order will be restored in our various states, inshallah.
The people must cooperate and stop patronizing the bandits by way of giving them information. All information that will help in curbing this banditry should be given to law enforcement agents, not to the criminals.
They appeal to Nigerians to provide credible information to aid security operations. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has directed field commanders to ensure rapid implementation of the recent presidential order to stem rising security threats in parts of the country. Lieutenant General Buratai's message was made public by the Acting Director of Army Public Relations, Colonel Sagir Musa.
These are Army Principal Officers, General Officers Commanding and Field Commanders at the Army Headquarters in an emergency strategic meeting with the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. Issues dissected focus on counter-insurgency and other internal security operations in parts of the country, with a view to deploy radical approach to end this threat.
General Buratai directed all commanders to ensure that the charge given by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief must be fully implemented so as to speedily crush Boko Haram terrorism and the myriad of security threats facing the nation.
The director notes that the fighting formation has commenced major reorganization of operations for optimal performance.
There is no time for complacency, no time for excuses, and there will be no tolerance for shortcomings or failures. The situation must be reversed immediately.
Similarly, the 2020 Nigerian Army Day celebration nacelle, scheduled to hold in Jos Plateau State, has been moved to Katsina State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A submeasure of civil authority is gradually returning to many of the devastated local councils in Borno State as vestiges of the Boko Haram insurgency reduce for peace to reign. The 1 year of Professor Babagana Umara Zulum in office with aggressive reconstruction and the resettlement drive for returnee communities in liberated areas is ensuring the entrenchment of civil authority with local councils and traditional institutions operating from their localities. Mohammed Goni tells us more.
Stabilization mechanism as adopted by states in the Lake Chad region as a strategy to end the decade-long insurgency requires that the military approach should be followed by entrenchment of civil authority, building resilience and infrastructural development, which the regional member states have domesticated in their quest to realize the said objectives. The military high command also encourages affected state governments to constitute civil authorities in those areas declared safe through deployment of police and other security operatives. Professor Obagana Umarafu in the last 1 year traversed local government areas, directed presence of government officials and traditional institutions.
We will do everything possible to enforce establishment of civil authorities in NGOs. And with respect to your traditional rulers, the district heads and others, all those who are not willing to stay in the local government headquarters shall be forwarded to the government of Borno State for necessary action.
Government has constructed and rebuilt destroyed municipal buildings and structures such as lodges, local government secretariats, palaces of traditional rulers, as well as police stations, among others. Governor Babagana Umara believes that resilience can only be achieved when the emirs, village and wards heads return to provide leadership at the grassroots.
There's no way we shall get development without the local government areas. The local government areas are backbone of any administration. They are closed to the grassroots people. This administration, since assumption of duty, had warned them to desist from absenteeism.
Shehus of Dikwa and Bama, as well as emirs of Askira, Uba and Goza, have all returned to their domains and have expressed commitment to fully support establishment of civil authority. As a first step, Governor Zulum is ensuring structures for maintenance of law and order, social amenities are provided, local authorities sustain presence and services, as well as traditional rulers to provide leadership and direction. This effort is working in many liberated areas, with the present administration ensuring returnees engage in agricultural practice and other empowerment programs, and efforts are ongoing to resettle more IDPs back home. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
We pause for some messages. The news continues after this timeout. Stay tuned.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
You can choose to do this with your stew, but not your data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# today. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
So good to be here.
Me too, sure. I brought that specially for you. You see that sanitizer you're holding? That is my protection against germs. Germs are everywhere, and they're always in places like there, and there. These germs spread all sorts of illnesses, so we have to be vigilant and protect our health. And that's why I use Too Sure hand and surface sanitizer. With 70% alcohol, Too Sure sanitizers ensures that you stop germs and you live well.
Wow, so I can be sure of my protection from germs.
Not just sure, but Too Sure.
Auntie Too Sure.
Oh no, call me Auntie Too Sure.
Too Sure hand and surface sanitizer. Stop germs, live well.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth hurts and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
John, you can use our toilet now.
Ew! My mommy said I should always use a toilet that is cleaned with Hypo toilet cleaner. James will bite my bone bone.
John, what's the problem? Use Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Introducing the new and affordable Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Kills germs and deodorizes your toilet.
Wetin be this coronavirus thing? Na true?
You see this coronavirus, wey be COVID-19. Now the whole world palava. And it don't dey kill many people for China, Italy, UK, US, Spain, and even for other countries them.
Okay, wetin come be the reason wey dem say make everybody tanda for house?
Now because if they waka pium go carry am from person wey don't get am, you go carry come give your family them. Now so the thing take they kill other people for other countries.
Okay, wetin come be that social distancing self?
You see social distance. Now make we no come close because this thing now from air and touch now we dey contact am. We suppose dey at least 6 foot away from each other every time.
So okay, no be only to wash your hand and to sanitize them alone.
Make we no take this washing of hand thing take play but make we come together. Join hand as we take pursue Ebola, pursue this coronavirus. Make we be each other be keepers now.
Welcome back. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has described the growing disregard for its guidelines and skepticism about the pandemic among Nigerians as worrisome and capable of undermining the efforts made so far. Going forward, the task force says its appraisal of the situation nationwide will guide its next line of action at the end of the month. Batari Ben reports.
Nigeria has crossed the 20,000 mark of confirmed COVID-19 cases and is clearly in the community transmission stage, forcing the Presidential Task Force to describe as unfortunate how many Nigerians are still living in denial of the existence of the pandemic.
In parts of the southeast where we did a recent survey, 60% did not believe that COVID was an issue. In the cities where adherence to these protocols were high in the initial 2 weeks of the eased lockdown, progressively over time, citizens are letting down their guards, and this remains of grave concern.
Right now, no state is COVID-19 free. Even if you don't have it, you can spread it, and that's why prevention is very important. If you can't prevent, you detect.
The figure of infections and the fatalities we have in Nigeria today are not statistics. You can place a face, you can place a name of somebody you know, people who come from the same communities with you. So for me, conspiracy theories are abstract. The reality of the situation is that, yes, COVID-19 has hit home.
Putting the fatality rate of the pandemic in Nigeria at 2.55% so far, the PTF says the best strategy for containing the deadly virus remains testing, isolation, treatment, and robust case management.
Some of the fatalities recorded in our country may possibly have been saved if they had arrived designated treatment centers early enough.
For the Minister of State for Education, it is still not safe to reopen schools.
The least we can do at the moment is to keep our children, our most prized assets, the future of Nigeria, under lock and key first. When we are sure that it's safe to release them, gladly, we will.
We've been meeting with stakeholders of the industry to find out how best can we open this industry up.
We have 500,000 NTA volunteers. But for those who are claiming that they've not been paid, we are looking into these issues together with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation.
Nigerians are reminded that confirmed cases of COVID-19 are not just numbers but people. Hence the need to take personal responsibility by continually observing all safety protocols and advisories. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
World Health Organization identifies lack of global solidarity and leadership as threats to winning the war against COVID-19, as Brazil becomes second country after the US to register more than 50,000 deaths from the virus. Uche Ogechukwu brings us more on the global update on COVID-19.
Global tally from Budometer puts coronavirus cases at 9,093,827 as death toll hits 471,490 and 4,868,086 recoveries as at 6 p.m. local time. Brazil becomes the second country after the US to register more than 50,000 deaths from COVID-19. It comes amid growing political tension and just days after the country confirmed more than 1 million coronavirus infections. 57 female minors have tested positive for COVID-19 in a government-run shelter in the northern Indian city of Kanpur. With more than 400,000 infections, India has the fourth highest number of cases in the world. However, the number of daily coronavirus deaths in the UK has dropped to its lowest level since mid-March, according to the latest government figures. The Department for Health and Social Care said there have been 15 new deaths recorded in the past 24 hours. Ireland's health authority plans to press ahead with the launch of a coronavirus contact tracing app and, subject to approval, would launch its COVID tracker app shortly after. Spain has finally lifted its nationwide state of emergency, with borders reopening and tourists returning. On the Africa continent, 310,096 cases of COVID-19 infections have been recorded, 8,176 deaths, and 149,557 recoveries. Meanwhile, 436 new cases and 12 deaths of COVID-19 have been recorded in Nigeria. The country now has 20,244 confirmed cases of COVID-19, 6,879 cases discharged, and 518 deaths in 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The World Health Organization's Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said the lack of global solidarity and leadership is the greatest threat the world faces now and not the virus itself. The WHO also said the pandemic is still accelerating and that its economic and other effects would be felt for decades. Uche Ogechukwu, NTA News.
Resident doctors are back to their duty post following the suspension of the indefinite industrial action embarked upon last week. Hakimat Aliyu visited some hospitals mostly affected in the Federal Capital Territory to see if the doctors are in full compliance with the new directive by its National Executive Council.
Extraordinary virtual meeting by its Executive Council, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors resolved to suspend the indefinite strike with effect from Monday, 22nd of June 2020. The decision is to allow the federal and state government more time to fulfill their demands. At the Federal Medical Center, Jabi, the resident doctors are back to their duty post and services have returned fully in optimal level.
But we're able to actually handle them.
We feel good since they have called off the strike.
It's a good thing, and we urge the government to please look into this matter so that the doctors wouldn't have to go on strike.
The situation here at the National Hospital, Abuja, is not different.
One of the major demands was the sack of resident doctors at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, about 26 doctors, and 26 of them have been recalled back. And also the issue of hazard COVID allowance.
While the doctors have fully resumed their duty posts, negotiations with relevant stakeholders is expected to continue. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has commended members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors for calling off their nationwide strike following his interventions and those of others. Gbajabiamila said by their action, the resident doctors have once again proved that they truly have Nigerians at heart, saying the House leadership and members appreciate them for that. The Speaker, in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Larry Lasisi, said he believes the various interventions by the House helped in no small measure in resolving the issue. The resident doctors had appreciated the Speaker Gbajabiamila for his interventions that commenced with a meeting with stakeholders and culminated in the inclusion of 4 billion naira as hazard allowance in the revised 2020 national budget. The decision to suspend the strike action was taken in order to give the federal and state governments time to fulfill the outstanding demands following an appeal by the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, and other stakeholders. And now for more on the call-off of the strike, we now join Ruth in Lagos.
Thank you, Kenne. Resident doctors in Lagos are back to work after downing tools for a week, following an industrial action over their welfare and inadequate protective equipment for operations. Amaka Owo, who visited the Lagos State Teaching Hospital, has the situation report.
Resident doctors in Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, a federal government facility in the state, joined their colleagues who embarked on a 1-week-long strike, which was called by the national body of the association. However, following the suspension of the strike, medical activities have been restored as patients turned up for treatment. The doctors, who constitute the largest percentage in the hospital's workforce, are back to the wards and theatres to join the consultants who held forth during the strike.
If you go to emergency, adult emergency, children emergency, and other clinics, people are working. So we are back to work. We are always ready to work.
We hope that from now on, the relationship will be that of understanding, not waiting till when we issue ultimatum or threatening to go on strike before they do the needful.
Some members of the public who said the strike was ill-timed due to the coronavirus pandemic praised the quick intervention of government.
A good outcome. We appreciate it.
So far, it's nurses that has been doing the work. With the cut-off strike so far, I think it's going to be of immense relief on the nurses.
The strike by the doctors was called off to give government time to fulfill outstanding demands. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And away from health, the maritime sector is working on an empowerment scheme that will gainfully engage Nigerian youths and make them self-sufficient, thereby reducing the rate of crime in the country. At a media briefing in Lagos, practitioners from the industry recounted the progress made since President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the anti-piracy law. Michael Olaleye reports.
It's exactly 1 year that President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act 2019. Since it became operational, 27 arrests have been made, fine issued to violators, while 156 personnel have been trained on the enforcement of the anti-piracy law. It is a feat boosted with the deployment of more machineries for the takeoff of the Deep Blue projects.
We have already achieved over 85%. We almost finished the supply of the platforms now. What remains now is the local components, that is the training of human elements. Because day in, day out, we have the platforms, special mission aircraft. We have 2 already, we received them. We have special helicopters, 3. They are about to arrive here in January 2021.
With security comes the huge investment opportunities, which coincide with the mandates of the industry to develop shipping and ensure that the floating dock acquired in 2018 generates 1 billion naira monthly, in addition to the quest to empower ship owners under the Cargo Financing Fund.
Our aim is to make sure that we make the funds available to the stakeholders at affordable price. What we need to do now is to converge with the entire committee, review what we did, and now submit it to the Honorable Minister for onward transmission to the National Assembly for the necessary amendment.
Integrating the Navy's Falcon Eye surveillance infrastructure with the C4I and C3I operational centers are initiatives that will complement the anti-piracy law to end criminalities in the Gulf of Guinea. In Lagos, Michael Alale, NTA News.
Time now for a break. Network news continues shortly.
Data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
Close Up Deep Action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close Up Deep Action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
The very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem Soft Gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
Is down only in round 1. Ayua, Amatem for Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Today on Happy Clean 9 Job Mission, we visit Mrs. Johnson live in Lagos.
Ah, Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I have been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To clean your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for stains in the toilet. Harpic Thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
Period pain may stop you at the worst time. Don't let period pain hold you back from being your best. Panadol Extra, effective relief from period pain.
No perfect family may be under threat by germs. Germs can cause infectious diseases like diarrhea, typhoid, and flu. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. In Nigeria, tens of thousands of children under the age of 5 have died due to diarrhea caused by germs. These illness-causing germs are everywhere. Dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes, in unclean bathing water. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. For surface cleaning, for first aid, for your laundry, in your bathing water, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol with aloe vera. Soothing aloe vera, the power of Dettol, which is soft on skin and hard on germs. Be Dettol sure.
The leadership of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government has formally endorsed the candidature, a letter personally signed by the President of the Authority, Mahamadou Issoufou of the Republic of Niger, highlights the strong academic and professional background of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala with over 30 years of practice as a development economist, deserves the support of the authority. He further notes that as a former managing director of the World Bank, Nigerian finance minister and other positions within the African continent with excellent track records, placed Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in a vantage position to head the World Trade Organization. The ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government therefore calls on other African countries as well as non-African countries to endorse her candidature. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, has summoned the Charge d'Affaires of the High Commission of Ghana to Nigeria, Eva Denu, to demand urgent explanation of the recent attacks on the residential building and the diplomatic premises and the reinforcement of security around the premises. The minister stated this at the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 briefing this Monday.
What we can say is that it was a non-state actor that was involved. I mean, it was not the government, and it was not government sanctioned. We've engaged with the highest level of authorities in Ghana. The foreign minister went today with the officials of the Nigerian High Commission to the land registry that the president had directed for very severe action to be taken against those who were responsible for that.
Similarities between Nigeria and Australia's coastal biodiversity are propelling talks for shared experience in restoration of mangroves impacted by hydrocarbon pollution. Onengie Fiferis witnessed one of such meetings in Abuja and now reports.
Hydrocarbon pollution in Nigeria's coastal region, especially the Niger Delta, has continued to degrade the natural flora and fauna of mangroves and aquatic lives. Consequently, Nigerian government has commenced remediation of some polluted sites in the region, but illegal artisanal refining has significantly increased the degradation of coastal ecosystems. Talks between the Minister of State Environment and Australia's High Commissioner to Nigeria are centered on best practices to restore the health and wealth of the coastlines.
We have talked about how we can learn from Australia, especially with our coastal areas, and we having marine protected areas, and we're also going into mangrove restoration projects in Nigeria. So the Australian High Commission has been working closely with Nigeria.
As you know, Australia has a huge coastline. We're an island state, and we have a very similar coastline and mangrove issues. And we've learned a lot about kind of mangrove restoration, which absolutely we can share. So there is a lot of opportunities for that, yes.
Roles and opportunities for women in leadership and environmental governance were also considered at this meeting. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
We now join Miriam in Jos for more reports.
The
Good evening. It's good to have you join us. As the mantle of leadership shifts to the newly elected officials of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Plateau State Chapter, words from across top government and religious leaders centered on the need for Christians at all levels of authority to use their positions to preach the peace and unity of the country. This came to the fore during the inauguration of the officials led by Reverend Father Polycarp Lubo at the St. Michael's Catholic Church, Zawan Jos. Bilkisu Nuhu has more.
The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Idris Wase, and other top government officials enjoined the new state leadership of CAN to unite the body of Christ on the plateau and to work closely with other faiths for peaceful coexistence and development of the nation.
Teaches me to speak the truth, no matter how bitter it is. And that has been taken many times. The important tool you need for your success is character. Without character, we cannot impact. I want to urge you to be firm, to be committed to the calling, and most importantly, be committed to anything that is in the interest of God.
For the outgoing chairman and his successor, CAN in Plateau State will continue to play the role of uniting people, irrespective of religious affiliations. Goodwill messages from the Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talen, and the Longmine Mishkum Martins Shelders III centered on the need for unity among believers through exemplary leadership. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
Traditional rulers in Plateau State have emphasized the need for Nigerians to retrace their steps and uphold those cultural values that help to strengthen the integrity and the core values of the girl child. This is coming on the heels of recent violence against the female gender in the country. The Longomai of Shandam, His Royal Highness Mishkom Martin Shelders III, and the Longtail of Mikang, His Royal Highness Donald Puntel, spoke to NTA News on the girl child and national development. Ndiang and Diabagyang has more.
Recent gender-based violence in some parts of the country, traditional rulers say, has further pushed the need for moral reawakening amongst Nigerians and strengthening of legislations that will help check gender-based violence.
The young ones look at themselves as the digital community. So they are influenced by this social media such that discipline is no longer there. And it was worsened by the fact that government took over missionary schools. The right that is to go back to those past and discipline, it must start even from the home.
Acknowledging the impact women are making in the society, they call for increased focus on educating the girl child.
Government will just have to intensify our efforts by making sure that all the girls go to schools at the time when it is due, so that at least it will help to build a society.
The traditional rulers are optimistic that when this is done, it will certainly open up the potentials and better position women and the girl child to contribute optimally to the development of the country. In Jos, Indenyan and Diabagyang, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. It's back to you, Kenny, for more on the news. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mariam. Now, a thorough investigation is to be carried out on 3 tankers and a trailer that were engulfed in explosion on Kara Bridge of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Sunday, 21st June 2020. A statement from the FRSA says the Co-Marshal Federal Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi, has directed immediate and thorough crash investigation for the prosecution of both the owners and drivers of the 4 articulated vehicles. Goods worth millions of naira have been destroyed by an inferno that gutted parts of Oba markets, one of the major markets located in this city center in Benin. Obehi Otobo Aprezai reports that it took the joint efforts of fire services from 7 states and federal government institutions to control the fire.
Despite the collaborative efforts of the state and federal fire services, the Nigerian Army School of Supply, the Nigerian Air Force, the University of Benin, and the
Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, who were on ground shortly after the fire started, as well as the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. The fire, which started from the livestock section, spread to clothing section and parts of the first floor.
So for over 5 hours, we've been trying to combat the fire, and I can see we are making progress from everything.
While some traders managed to salvage their wares, others were not so lucky.
Everything we get, don't burn. So everybody go start from square one. As I reach here now, my fowl, everything don't burn.
The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained.
As we speak right now, we cannot ascertain what caused it. Number one, there was no NEPA light. There was no light, as at the time this incident occurred.
After over 7 hours of rage, the fire was finally put under control. Governor Godwin Obaseki was also at the scene of the incident to gauge the extent of the damage. Meanwhile, the governor has set up an investigative panel to investigate the cause of the incident and submit their report in 10 days. In Benin, Opehi Otoba Prasai, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has called on local and federal authorities to provide assistance to victims of the fire incident in Oba Market, Benin, Edo State, while sympathizing with those who lost their shops and warehouses. The president directs an investigation into the cause of the inferno in order to avoid the horrific situation in the future. Time for another break. Stay with us.
Drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking is the focus this week on NTA Tuesday Live. What are the best practices and challenges in tackling the ills? What are the success stories in Nigeria as the world looks forward to the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking? Join us on NTA Tuesday Live at 10:30 p.m. for this and more. Don't miss it.
Thank you for staying with us. 3 clubs against cancellation of MPFL season as Amanzi Marcus reports on sports.
Majority members of the Association of Club Owners have voted to end the 2019-2020 Nigeria Professional Football League season due to the coronavirus pandemic. In a vote conducted electronically, 17 clubs voted to end the season using the points per game system with no promotion or relegation. Lobby Stars Football Club of Makurdi, which alongside Rangers and Aqua United voted against ending the league, have appealed to the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and the Nigeria Football Federation not to agree on the majority decision. Meanwhile, Japan pulled out of bidding to host the 2023 Women's World Cup on Monday, leaving the top-rated joint bid by Australia and New Zealand a clear favorite in the FIFA vote. Japan and Australia are both members of the Asian Football Confederation, and we are likely to split the region's support in a vote Thursday by members of FIFA's ruling council. Colombia is now the only rival to Australia and New Zealand. And still on football, EPL continues Tuesday with 2 Week 31 matches. Leicester City with 54 points from 30 matches hosts Brighton 50.
The death has been announced of a philanthropist, Alhaji Ahmadu Umaru Sidi, aged 66. Alhaji Ahmadu Umaru Sidi from Jigawa State had a career spanning many years at the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC). He rose to the position of the General Manager, Pipeline Products and Marketing Company and Executive Director, Procurement, Nigerian National Integrated Power Project (NIP). Until his death, Alhaji Ahmadu Umaru Sidi was a board member of the Yalman Development Association (YALDA). He is survived by a wife and 3 children. The death has also been announced of Sergeant Joseph Arigo Ombunganza, aged 82. He died on the 28th of May 2020 and will be laid to rest on Friday, 26th of June 2020 at his hometown, Kefi, Nasarawa State, after the funeral service at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Kefi, by 10 a.m. Late Sergeant Joseph Arigo Ombunganza is survived by his wife, 4 children, among whom is Agatha Joseph Obioha, officer in charge of NTA Kefi, and 9 grandchildren. Let's now take a look at the weather prospects for Tuesday. That's NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks to you for watching. My name is Kenan Ima Aburike. Have a good night.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
I am Elizabeth Abai. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information, just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojipo.
Our papa and our mama, I beg. Una go don't hear about this thing we call coronavirus. The sickness we call COVID-19. A very bad sickness. It don't kill plenty people and it still dey kill. And people will get sickness we don't already dead them body. If they catch this sickness, they terrible. That's why we won't come tell una, say I beg. Make una not let people where they work anyhow, make them come una, make una just stay for house. Make una wear mask, make una they wash una hand well, and not let anybody wear non wear mask come near una at all. I beg. And make una not vex say we say make una not shake una children again, make una not embrace, make una not carry them for body. Because we don't know who they carry this sickness come. Then feel carry them and you know go to pain them for body, but if all person carry them,